Welcome, Aries. Before we begin, I want you to pause for just a moment, just long enough to feel what's shifting around you. Because today, I'm not here to give you only a message. This is a reminder and a promise meant only for you. If these past few days your heart has felt more sensitive, your intuition sharper, or you've had the strange sense that someone is calling your name from a very deep place, that isn't your imagination. It's a signal, a sign that the energy of the 14th is opening a doorway that only a soul ready for evolution can recognize. Stay with me, because in just a moment you'll understand why the call coming on the 14th isn't random at all. It's an answer the universe has been holding for you for a very long time. The 14th rises like a quiet sign, a thin ribbon of light slipping through your mind as Aries gently places a hand over the chest, listening to the rhythm that has carried you through so many battles. No noise, no urgency. Just a soft movement in the air that makes you wonder why your heart feels so sensitive today, as if something deep inside you is shifting, as if someone, somewhere far beyond familiar thoughts, is calling your name. Let your shoulders loosen. Breathe in, slowly. Let your breath touch the layer of emotions you've buried for so long, the ones you set aside just to stay strong, to keep moving forward through every challenge life placed in front of you. In this moment, you don't need to be strong. You don't need to hide. You don't need to brace yourself. Just allow yourself to simply be a human being searching for the truth of your own heart. There are moments when the soul releases a silent sigh, a barely audible whisper that says it's tired of carrying too much, tired of holding everything in, tired of walking so far alone. It's also a reminder that it's time to listen to your intuition again, the voice you've ignored because life has been too busy, too demanding, too heavy. On this journey, Aries has always been the one who stands back up, wipes their own tears, and rekindles the fire in their chest whenever darkness tries to settle in. Maybe that's why people think you're always fine. They don't see the nights you sit in silence, staring into the dark, wondering why your effort goes unseen. They don't know how many times you've wanted to let everything go just so your spirit could breathe a little easier. But the universe sees it all. Every pain you hid, every wound you never mentioned, every tear you swallowed, every moment you chose kindness over anger, gentleness over retaliation. The universe hasn't forgotten a single piece of it. The 14th is the answer to all of that. Like a doorway opening into a world you've only glimpsed before, where the blessings you thought were lost return to you at the perfect time, in the perfect rhythm, in the exact moment your heart is finally ready to receive. Deep inside, your intuition already knows this. Not through logic, but through a soft trembling under your skin, a sweet, restless stirring, a strange calm that settles over a day that feels like any other. Intuition doesn't speak in words. It speaks in sensations, and today, it's speaking loud and clear. Aries, you've endured too much silence, carried too much hurt without a sound. It's time for you to be heard. It's time for your fire to be seen, recognized, and honored. It's time for that call to become the turning point you should have received long ago. Let yourself believe that something good is moving toward you. Because sometimes, the only reason a blessing doesn't arrive is not that it doesn't exist, but because your heart hasn't believed you deserve it. Whenever the 14th draws near, a gentle shift begins to move through the spiritual atmosphere. Not something you can see, but something you feel beneath the skin, like a thin breath of wind brushing across your wrist, awakening a quiet instinct that something in your life is finally sliding into place. In astrology, this is the moment when Aries-Mars energy blends with a new current of expansion, creating a field where everything once delayed suddenly finds its path. Aries, you've wondered many times why things arrive later for you than for others, why your climb seems steeper, your wounds deeper, your patience tested more than most. Those questions are not signs of weakness. They are the honest voice of a soul worn down after a long, demanding journey. Yet the 14th appears like a silent answer from the universe. Not a reward for patience alone, but the outcome of inner growth, shaped by every moment you fell, rose again, and kept moving even when no one applauded. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a doorway made of light, not blinding, just bright enough to bring peace. This doorway doesn't open to loud knocks. It opens when the one standing before it finally understands their own worth. That is how the energy of the 14th works. It doesn't respond to urgency. It waits for a heart that's mature enough to receive something new. Mars, the planet of will and action, beats like a drum inside you, not loud, not rushed, just steady, a pulse reminding you that what's coming is not luck. It's born from the strength you've been building quietly for years. There are cosmic windows that open only for a short time. To the ordinary eye, nothing seems to happen. But to the heart, you can feel a current moving, pushing stuck energy aside, and guiding what is meant for you right into the center of your life. The 14th is one of those windows, a meeting point between time and energy, where even the smallest shift carries meaning. Aries is a sign born for action, yet your most beautiful action is not when you sprint forward, but when you pause long enough to hear the truth inside you. The message of the 14th is simple. Not every the door is meant to be forced open. Some doors unlock only when you stand before them with peace and the belief that you deserve the very best. Place a hand over your heart and ask yourself, what is the one thing in life you've waited for so long, yet never truly allowed yourself to believe could arrive easily? The energy of the 14th is bringing that closer, not with noise, but with clarity, a clarity that feels like it was meant for you all along. If you can sense that soft shift around you, that subtle signal you can't quite name, let your heart acknowledge it. Write just one simple line, a small declaration to the universe. I'm ready to receive. There are small sounds in life, sounds so simple, yet powerful enough to change everything. A soft vibration, an unexpected call, a voice that arrives at the exact moment your heart is finally open enough to hear it. The 14th carries that kind of signal, a signal that doesn't just come from a phone, but rises from the deeper layers of destiny, like a message whispering that the world outside is finally catching up to what the world inside you has been ready for a very long time. Aries, that call may come in many different forms. It might be a financial opportunity you once believed you could only brush against in a dream. It might be a work invitation that brings the kind of income your quiet dedication has always deserved. It might be someone who once underestimated you returning just to admit they were wrong and that your value far surpasses anything they ever imagined. Or it might be a project you thought would never reach you, suddenly opening like a gentle hand on your shoulder saying, "Step in, your new path is ready." Whatever form it takes, it carries a single, undeniable message. Your time has arrived. Not tomorrow, not next month. Now, the moment your heart begins to believe it deserves something beautiful. I believe this not because astrology says so, but because what you've lived through proves something deeply human. No one walks through that much pain and ends up with nothing. Some gifts come wrapped as challenges, covered in disappointment, hidden inside loss. Others see that as bad luck. But you have taken every trial and turned it into fire to forge yourself stronger. You've stood in the dark, trying to make out a light no one else could see. You listened to the faintest pull of your inner voice, even when everyone around you told you to give up. You got out of bed on days when even breathing felt like a quiet battle. None of that was meaningless. Every step you made was a silent vow that you weren't born to blend in, you were born to shine in your own unmistakable way. The universe does not hand out rewards to the perfect. It gives them to the persistent. Not to those who never fall, but to those who rise again despite every fall. Not to those who are strong all the time, but to those who dare to be honest about their softness. That honesty, that resilience, becomes a kind of strength, quiet enough to be overlooked yet powerful enough to shift the course of your life. The call on the 14th is a confirmation of that. Proof that your steps were never wasted, your effort was never empty, your courage was never unseen. It is the sign that your path is finally responding, sending back what you have long deserved. Listen for what's happening in your chest right now. A bit of excitement, a tender sense of anticipation, a thin thread of trust that feels soft but very real. That is intuition awakening. That is the signal that your journey is about to rise into a new layer of meaning, a layer where what once felt distant begins moving toward you, quietly, like morning light sliding across the horizon. And once you're ready to go deeper into this story, you'll see that what comes next is far greater than a single phone call. There are things that happen in life not to test how much you can endure, but to remind you that the journey you've walked means far more than you realize. The call on the 14th is one of those things. It isn't a gift that falls from luck, and it is anything but random. It's the result of a long season where you stood firm through challenges no one else ever saw. From a Buddhist perspective, karma isn't an invisible hand that comes to punish. It is a teacher, a patient teacher, sometimes strict, but always guiding you toward the exact lesson your soul needs to become whole. When you finish that lesson, when you stop blaming, stop running, when your heart is soft enough to understand and strong enough to forgive, the reward appears naturally, not late, not early, exactly when you're mature enough to receive it without losing yourself. Aries has just moved through such a cycle, a long one that may have made you wonder if the universe ever heard your deepest thoughts. If your quiet efforts were ever seen, you've held back your desire to break through because the timing wasn't right. You've swallowed words that should have been spoken. You've dimmed the fire in your chest just so you wouldn't burn anyone around you. But cosmic energy never stands still. When one cycle closes, another begins. And now, the pressure inside you has turned into momentum. Your silence has become magnetism. What once felt held back has transformed into a light that draws toward you the opportunities, the people, and the recognition you deserve. Aries energy is naturally bold, direct, intense. Yet when that fire merges with the maturity you've gained over the years, it becomes a kind of field, a frequency that makes the right things find their way to you. No more chasing, no more proving, no more running after what isn't meant for you. Your light now is no longer the fierce blaze of a warrior trying to be seen. It's a warm, steady glow deep enough to make others want to come closer, want to see you as you truly are. You have fought in the dark where no one was watching. Now, the light is coming to find you. Let that sentence sink into the deepest part of your heart, because the light does not seek what is unworthy. It seeks the souls who have walked through enough night to cherish a sunrise. It seeks the ones who rise with kindness, not bitterness, who refuse to harm others even when they themselves have been hurt. The call on the 14th is a reward for choosing goodness when goodness wasn't easy, for choosing healing over revenge, for choosing to believe in beauty even when disappointment wore your heart thin. The universe does not forget those choices. If you sit still for a moment, you'll feel a subtle movement around you as if life is clearing a path. No noise, no rush. Just a quiet rearranging that guides you into a new layer of experience, a layer where old blockages begin to loosen, where what once felt impossible starts to open, a layer where you can finally look back on everything you survived and realize that every wound was the very reason you became this strong and this gentle. Love has a way of entering our lives at the most unexpected moments. The 14th carries a very particular kind of light, a light that doesn't blind, but illuminates the parts of yourself you once hid even from your own heart. This is the day when Aries sees more clearly, who is coming closer, who is drifting away, and who is standing quietly at the edge, waiting for you to open the door. It might be someone from the past returning not to revive what was lost, but to finally speak the words they've held inside for far too long. It might be someone new who steps into your life so gently that it feels as if they've been circling your light for years, just waiting for your soul to be calm enough to recognize them. Or sometimes, what arrives isn't a person at all, but a confession, a truth, a signal from a heart that has been watching you from a distance. Aries, no matter what appears, the most important truth is this: you no longer love from emptiness. You no longer choose someone because you fear being alone or because you need to hide from your own loneliness. You love from fullness now, from the worth you've discovered within yourself, from the broken pieces you've healed with your own hands. That makes you a different version of yourself, calmer, steadier, wiser. Love is no longer the place you go to be fixed. It's the space where you choose to share what has already been healed. The beauty of love at this stage of your life isn't in the fiery rush of passion, but in the quiet safety someone's presence brings. A safety that doesn't need to be spoken. Just honest eyes, gentle kindness, and a presence that feels whole. For years, Aries has loved with the entire heart. You've given more than you had, hoped more than you received, hurt more than you ever allowed others to see. You believed that was the only way you knew how to love, but your past has taught you something essential. Loving someone doesn't mean losing yourself so they can feel comfortable. Loving someone doesn't mean carrying their emotional weight just because they won't carry their own. Now, you enter a new way of loving, a way where you understand your heart has value. A way where your peace matters more than maintaining a connection that drains you. A way where you set boundaries not to push people out, but to protect the parts of yourself you worked so hard to heal. Because the person who is meant for you will never ask you to sacrifice your peace just so they can stay. The most human lesson of this chapter is the one you feel quietly inside. Love is not about finding someone to fill the empty spaces. True love is finding someone who respects the spaces you healed on your own. Someone who wants to build with you, not take from you. Take a moment and ask yourself, who brings ease when they show up? Who takes in your peace the moment they enter? Who makes you feel seen instead of judged? Who requires you to shrink just to fit inside their heart? You deserve kindness. You deserve clarity. You deserve a connection that doesn't require chasing or performing or proving. Your love story is no longer a search, it's a meeting. A meeting between two people mature enough not to wound each other. If you listen closely, you'll feel your heart opening just a little more, as if it already recognizes that what's coming toward you is not another heartbreak, but a gentle shift, a softer light, a warmer presence, something that feels right. And from that soft light, your journey begins to move into a deeper layer, a place where your emotions no longer run or hide, but finally start returning to where they truly belong. Career doesn't always speak through loud signs. Sometimes it whispers. It shifts quietly, like a ray of light cutting through early morning fog, subtle yet clear. Enough for Aries to sense that something behind the curtain of life is beginning to move. These past few days, you may have felt a gentle push, a strange pull you couldn't quite explain, as if an unseen current was guiding you forward before your mind had the words for it. That is the signal of being chosen, a phase where the universe places you exactly where you belong, not to test you further, but to finally return what you've waited for far too long. Every idea you once kept tucked away, every spark you dismissed as fragile, is beginning to be seen. Not because you changed something dramatic, but because you have changed. Your energy has matured. People notice it. Some who underestimated you now watch quietly, even privately admit they misjudged your power. This isn't a cue for pride. It's a reminder that every effort is witnessed by someone, even if that someone is only yourself. Your silent work is blooming, not in the flashy way that disappears overnight, but the way the strongest seeds grow slow, steady, unstoppable. There were nights when you worked in silence, wondering why your road felt so long. Now, every one of those steps is returning to you in the form of opportunities that come your way, instead of ones you have to chase. This shift isn't born from luck, it's born from the shift within you. In energy work, there is something I often tell people like you. When Aries truly believes they deserve more, the flow of life rearranges to match that belief. Money doesn't appear through magic. It appears when you stop rejecting yourself, stop minimizing your worth, stop working beneath your true capacity just to make others comfortable. You've begun choosing what aligns. You've begun saying no to things that drain you. You've begun realizing that peace in your work is just as important as success. You've begun understanding that you cannot keep giving energy to what no longer nourishes you. The moment you changed your perspective, your career changed its response. Your financial path is opening now. No more stops and starts. No more constant worry. Your flow is expanding through new layers, as if life is balancing the scales after years of you giving twice the effort and receiving only half the return. This is the adjustment you've earned. Listen to the feeling in your chest right now. Maybe a soft flutter, a quiet excitement. That is your intuition, recognizing the new ground you're about to step into, a ground where you no longer need to prove yourself. You just need to show up as who you truly are. Ask yourself, what in your career has made you feel unseen? Who failed to recognize your value? Or maybe, have you been the one overlooking your own worth for far too long? Share it. Saying it out loud releases old energy. It stops lingering. It stops holding you back. The road ahead is brighter than you think, bright enough to guide you toward larger shifts, wider opportunities, and levels you once believed would take much longer to reach. Every life-changing journey has a strange stretch of road, a part that looks ordinary on the surface yet carries a quiet, unshakable unease. In the days leading up to the 14th, you may feel your mind wobble for no clear reason. Small things might suddenly worry you. A careless comment, a few hours of feeling lost, a sigh you didn't expect to escape your chest. These aren't bad signs. They are the doorway tests that every great blessing sends ahead of itself. Just like the sky grows darker right before dawn breaks a little darker so the light can stand out, a little darker so you know you're ready for the next chapter of your life. Aries, don't be afraid if the days before the 14th make you doubt yourself. Don't be afraid if someone tries to dim your energy. Don't be afraid if life sends a few confusing signals. These are not signs you're on the wrong path. In truth, they're proof you're standing very close to the turning point the universe prepared for you. In Buddhist thought, this state is called the final residue of karma. It's the last layer of old energy clinging on before you step into a brighter cycle, like a shirt that's grown too tight, pulling a little right before you take it off. Not because you're wrong, but because your soul is expanding. In astrology, this is energetic realignment. When your frequency rises, whatever no longer fits naturally falls away. People leaving your life aren't there to make you lonely, they're making space for those meant to arrive. A closing door isn't punishment. It's redirection toward a path wider, clearer, and filled with more light. In psychology, they call this the tension before a breakthrough. When your life is about to shift, the brain sends out signals of caution. Ironically, that discomfort is the very proof you're approaching a new territory, one unfamiliar, one expansive, one that you actually deserve. So ask yourself, do you feel someone trying to pull you back into an older version of yourself? Do you sense someone planting doubt to make you shrink again? Do you feel a heavy wave passing through just to test whether you're still as easy to shake as before? Aries, when a soul is about to enter a new chapter, the old one always screams the loudest, not because it's powerful, but because it's afraid of losing you, afraid you'll outgrow the place that kept you small, but you don't belong there anymore. Don't tremble, don't pause. Don't question the strength you've spent so long building. These unstable vibrations are only the final echoes of a door you're about to leave behind. Once you step through, it will fade, grow quieter, and disappear. Aries, you are approaching the threshold your soul and your life have both been guiding you toward. What you're feeling right now is not failure. It is movement. It is transition. It is the clearing of your path. Let your spirit settle a little. Let your heart beat one shade stronger. Let your old world recede behind you like water pulling back when the tide begins to turn. Because when the mind grows quiet, you'll sense more clearly what's coming toward you, no longer a test, but the very thing you've been waiting so long to receive. The 14th rises like a gentle band of light, not dazzling enough to overwhelm, but soft enough to let your heart know that something real is beginning to shift. This change isn't happening on the surface. It lives in the way you feel yourself, in the sudden quiet inside your mind, in the lightness that settles over you after carrying far too much for far too long. This isn't a gift from the outside world. It's a rare moment of harmony between your inner life and the universe, as if both are whispering the same message. You are ready to receive. Aries, maybe you once believed that good things only happen to the lucky. But the truth is, good things come to those who rise again after everything. You've walked through lonely days no one knew about. You've smiled during hours when your heart wanted to collapse. You kept going even when your hands were empty. Those small, invisible acts became the foundation of the greatest transformation in your life. In soul work, they say the truest form of growth is not your strongest moment, but the moment you have the courage to look at yourself honestly. You've done that. You faced old wounds instead of turning away. You rearranged your life, cleared your mind, and healed the fragments someone else left behind. Every quiet action you took has become the ground for what is about to come. The 14th isn't just a date on a calendar. It's a beacon, a point of good karma turning toward you, a confirmation that your journey was never wasted, a place where the things you longed for but couldn't reach begin finding their way to you, where what was lost returns in a better form, where a heart that once hurt has grown large enough to receive love with peace and grace. You've learned that nothing is stronger than a heart that has broken and still chooses to love life again. And this love isn't only romantic love. It's the love you offer yourself, the love you offer your path, the love you offer the unseen because you trust it exists. Let yourself slow down for a moment. Let your breath drop deeper. Let your mind open as if you're standing before a wide doorway where the light no longer scares you, it invites you forward. If you close your eyes, you'll feel the silence spreading inside you. A silence not empty, but alive. A sign that you've stepped out of old energies and into something purer, softer, more beautiful. That silence is the meeting point between everything you've survived and everything you're about to receive. Believe that none of your steps were wasted, no lesson meaningless, no tear fell without purpose. They all brought you here to this moment, this breath, this layer of your life where you no longer have to force anything, a layer where life meets you gently, where you no longer chase love, you allow love to find you. And when you open your eyes, know that the light you see is not coming from the outside. It's coming from your own heart, a heart that has been patient, resilient, healing itself quietly, and now stands ready to step into its next chapter. Thank you, Aries, for being here today, for giving yourself this time, for sitting in stillness, and for sharing your energy with me in such an honest way. I wish you a 14th filled with light, peace, and the kind of good news that changes your life in the most beautiful way. Until we meet again on the next journey, may you walk forward in peace.